next person can just come up, literally just start coming up, and then you can take what you want.
Yeah, sure. Oh, thank you. Yeah, let me take a picture of that.
I'm just gonna start prepping it for you.
Sorry, baby.
It's all right, y'all.
You're used to it. So, but I was surprised that he gave it beautiful. Yeah. Usually it's like a big on the floor whack. But now we good. Now we did. So that wasn't bad. Nice. Yeah. And then having it without
And immunity, but it also gives you energy. And so I sometimes what I do is I actually will blend this in my no, I actually blend it in it's in the back. That's tough and that's amaranth together. I put them together.
Okay. White.
It's the beige one. Tap is the brown one. Yeah. So what I'll do typically, and I just forgot to do it here, but I will grind it to a powder using a coffee grinder, and then what I'll do after that is I'll put it in my porridge. So, or meal, right meal. You know, I used to say porridge in different parts of the country. So the reason why I do that is just for added benefits, protein content. So I want to give you just, if you have pen and paper now, or just digestible in our system. Like they're good, they'll say it's nutritionally beneficial, but again, we speak about how does it make you feel. Or how do we avoid bloating? How do we avoid, you know, issues of people who have celiac disease or anything like that? Like what's really the most optimal level, right? I could have went pescatarian and then went or vegetarian and then pescatarian. I could have done that, but for my issue, what's the most optimal thing for me to do? What's the most optimal path for me to take? You know, I don't want to sugarcoat my healing. And I think a lot of times, a lot of people don't want to transition or they're nervous about the next phase of their life because of comfortability over like actual health. You know what I mean? So not only is amaranth pretty much protein dense and TEF as well, they also have unsaturated fatty acids if you need fatty acids, as they're also part of building blocks of like muscle tissue, you know, tendons, things of that nature. Okay, so high source of protein, it reduces inflammation. That's pretty great, especially if the calories are coming from a good plant-based source. So if somebody wants to put on weight in calorie counting, look at the serving size and understand really what that means. You know, if you're a novice in it, or you're just trying to, or you're not really into like bodybuilding, but you want to understand how to read this. This is just telling you that all of this is contained into whatever serving size they're giving you. So if you, in half of a cup, you're getting 40 grams of carbs. Now, if you're somebody who's worked out, it's pretty great. 40 grams of carbohydrates, which is your energy source. Carbs is your primary energy source. Carbs are your primary energy source. So if you are if you're cutting down carbs, or you are doing a no-carb diet, then you have to understand what's going to be your secondary source of energy, which I believe, fact check me, somebody, is protein. All right? So people do like keto diets where they're taking a lot of protein, you know, so, and that, I don't agree with that. But again, things in moderation. Things in excess could be bad for you too. So 40 grams of carbohydrates, 8 grams of fiber. So this is really great for those people who need to get their fiber in, who have like elimination issues, okay? So I'm just gonna pass this around so you can really understand and really see how much bang you're getting for half a cup.
So now the Ron Flakes not healthy enough to absorb all that. You don't even have the amount of calcium you need for vitamin D to do what it needs to do. Everybody's covered up, they want to stay covered up, and a lot of that is a reflection of how they feel about themselves. So that's where spurs of depression are born. So food is literally medicine, but the breakfast is how you start. That's the spark. You usually want to keep that rhythm if you start off eating right? So I'm leading you into the next meal, which is the lunch meal. Your stomach acid at the climax of the day, I would say between 1 o'clock p.m. and 3 o'clock p.m. The stomach acid is the strongest. That's why the hunger pains be brutal. Like nobody cares about what I need to think about. I need to eat now. Like it's real brutal in the midday hour. So that's a good thing if you know what to do. And you want to keep your body, whether you're gaining weight, whether you're losing weight, right? So I prepared one of the best grains on the planet, and it's native to Africa. Let me see if I can get a few in my hand. I done cooked all of it. Ain't nothing, everything empty in my house. Shopping all the time. Cause I don't waste anything anymore, like Brother Chris. Oh nah, ain't nothing in here. So, if you look up fonio, you can see a picture of it. They're really small grains, and this literally cooks in 3 minutes. Like you can't even turn your back and walk away from the stove before it's done. And this grain can outdo any grain that y'all come up with. Spelt, rye, teff, you name it. I'll put this grain up against any grain. One of the beautiful things about fonio is that it has 2 amino acids, cysteine and methionine, or methionine. Those 2 are great for hair, skin, and nails. And not only that, because you eat a nutritious meal that gives you all your protein needs, because this is an important thing that the medical system uses. And I coached a cancer client for this, because people think they go to the nutritionist, oh, she got my back, she'll tell me. I said, no, they don't. First thing they're gonna throw at you is protein, because nothing builds more acid than protein. She's not gonna let you know that 2/3 of your protein is already inside of you. It's called an amino acid pool. So they're expecting overage. It's like credit. They expect you to just blow it up, right? So the nutritionist appointment is the back door to the doctor again. You just got this thing to thinking like, okay, I'm all right. And then they'll tell you to eat a burger. And you're like, oh, okay. And then they'll say, oh, for protein. And then that burger has an acid overload that explodes your viral infection or your cancer. Gives you good food to eat on. So they get paid off of that. So they're never going to tell you about those energy dynamics and how that affects your body, because that's what they're reaping on. So we want to cut that overload, right? So we want grains that serve purpose not just for carbohydrates, but for digestibility. And we want to mix it with foods that have an array of nutrients so we can get everything we need, especially color, because we're light beings. You know, we need colorful foods in order to stay colorful. And I'm tired of people with this bleach thing. Always want to get bleached, and they're crying when they wake up white tomorrow. So I'm going to go through the seasonings I use, because I don't want to take long. I just wanted to let you guys know how the process of the day works to keep your metabolism going. You don't have to suffer. You can get healthier rice. You can get healthier ingredients to make your sauces. We got to get back to making our own stuff. That's the most affordable way to take care. If you want to be cheap with your food, you can. You would just have to be very smart in your preparation, in your wisdom. So what I do, I prepare 3 days. My number is 3. I love 3. Food lasts great. After the 3rd day starts to up. So me, I'll eat all of this 3 days in a row. I'm going to eat it. I'm going to eat it for lunch. I ain't got time. Let me get. Yeah, I'm good, because I'm always on the phone. I'm always busy, like always busy. And because I have a rap sheet of solving people's problems in a major way, I'm getting busier. So sometimes I don't even have time to cook. I don't even have time to make my own stuff. So I keep people around me, and what I do is what I'm able, but I keep my prep good. So grains, 3 minutes, I made enough to serve everybody. 3 minutes, the grain. You could do that while you getting, no, you can't, that's too long. You could do that while you spitting after your toothpaste, and then that's about all the time you got. But that's good, because you could do that in the morning. Your grain is covered. All you gotta do is saute, which is what I have here. Teriyaki mushrooms, oyster mushrooms, with onions, peppers, so on and so forth. These are the only ingredients I use to make them. Now, I usually deal with, making sauce or homemade sauce. I'm not a fan of just buying everything out, especially sauce. It's good to sneak danger in sauce, and that's kind of how we got into this mess too. So I'm a lesser two evils guy. You don't want to be out here. You're already following enough rules. You're already going crazy because you don't make your own rules, but you're following a whole bunch. You know what I'm saying? So we don't want to make eating another rule-following frenzy. I know there's vegan police, Dr.Sebi, militia. I know. A lot of times I'm involved with stirring the pot. because I want to see who's fake or not. I want to see who knows or not. The only way to do that, create chaos. Everybody tell on themselves when chaos, hey, I'm not dealing with him because only the strongest will be organized out of chaos. They'll say, hold on, wait, this ain't, my grandmother's sick. I don't care about that. Does this work or not? And then a lot of people start to fade because you ain't here to boast me up. I got the knowledge, you here to see me. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, it's about what I'm talking about. Like, no, it's not. It's about what the purpose you're fulfilling while you talk, which is my grandmother. Because that's why I paid to get this information. I'm bringing some stuff home for her. Or whatever it could be a child, whatever it is, this is not to be played with and not to just cuddle talk. We need to get moving on this because they're working. They're waiting for another flu season. I warned against last flu season. That's all they do. They're gonna let us live because this is really not real. If they can just say, okay, to make more money, mask off, press the button, and y'all do it. You don't have to wear a mask. And people still, that means something's wrong here. And it's a lack of understanding because many of our people have been working. Just working. A lot of that work is emotional work, just trying not to snap on people. So they're working with that while they working, and then they realize like, man, I consume this, I consume that, but I haven't really released anything. I don't go to the bathroom. I don't have moments of self-reflection, self-maintenance. I've just been going. And then all my years. That's what a lot of people are learning in this quarantine. How many years they just been working and don't even know their damn children. Who are you? I didn't know you could do all that. Do it again? TikTok acting like it, please. If the system ain't forced your hand, you would have been at work. Still. So this is the best time, chaos, to bring order, but the order we want, right? The order we need. So these items are less than like 12, like this should be $59.99, how healthy this is. Seriously, this is so healthy, whether you're working out, losing weight, gaining weight, muscle. I done chewed whole locker rooms out in Metro, Retro, Valleys, 24-hour fitness, because for some reason the fitness world just thinks that, you know, this whole the vegans messed it up. They really did. They just get slim. And I'm like, they don't know how to eat. That's why. They just think lettuce, tomatoes, tofu. No grains. Yeah, your body's operational energy source is carbohydrates. Fat is for sedentary purposes only. You know what I mean? And if you don't have carbohydrates, and this is why vegans were skinny, it's going to turn protein into carbohydrates. That's your muscle tissue. That's why people start to get eaten away, look like they're withering away because the body is, I don't care if you call yourself vegan. We ain't vegan. This is biology. You either give us what we need or we're gonna take what we need. That's why our elders going through arthritis. You don't wanna get calcium? Cool, go get it from her joints. And don't care how much she cried because this is consequential. Ain't about your feelings, ain't about your ignorance, ain't about none of that. Consequence, like, and a lot of these chefs are my mentees, so I teach them, if you don't outdo consequence, you done. Because consequence will learn you real quick, no matter who's crying, praying, hoping, screaming, hollering. Doc, pull the plug. Having a whole boo-hoo fest house, Doc, there's nothing we can do. Pull the plug. That's consequence. So we don't want to wait until then to be calling Chris, what do I need? How you in the hospital trying to chef up phony? My mother lost 75 pounds. I carry her with me. Quarantine happened. I was like, I ain't playing this mask in the house. Where's your mask? Under my boot. That's where my mask is. Because like Chris said, a lot of this is dealing with hypoxia. You didn't have oxygen before the mask. Eating foods that rob you, right? And not eating foods that oxygenate you, and now you're gonna cover it up, put a double one if they tell you, might walk backwards if they executive order. You see what I'm saying? And then be looking at me. I'm like, do I look like I need the quarantine? Do I act like I need the quarantine? And I asked them one thing, I said, why are your plants dying? Because we used to do crazy experiments. And I'm gonna wrap it up so y'all can eat again, because I want that meal to metabolize. But there wasn't nobody talking about 5G. There's a lot of talk now, but they was being quiet about it, right? So this is what got the mask off. So I went in the house, I'm like, this plant, I'm like, why is it yellow? It's known for growing out of its pots for years because it was almost dead. And years ago when my stepfather had the Alkaline machine. This is before people were spelling Alkaline. Dr.Sebi wasn't popular. CMOS, none of that was popular. So I would bring Alkaline water up and people would be looking at me like, does Whole Foods have it? I'm like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? So, and I really didn't know too much the way I know now, but I knew enough. So we literally watched this plant go from a pot like this to a pot like this to a standing pot like this high. And this is the first time I ever seen it yellow. I'm like, does the plant have COVID? Where's the mask for the plant? What would be killing the plant that's related to y'all? What's killing the plant?
Carbon dioxide?
Opposite.
Opposite.
Oxygen. 5G sucks up 98% of oxygen, of free range oxygen. So that's like O2, right? That even us, that's what carbon monoxide does. Carbon monoxide means oxygen binds to carbon monoxide more than your iron. It's a better binder. It gives a better deal to oxygen. Take me, forget their iron. And that's why it happens and you don't know, it's just like you sleep and you don't wake up. So that's what's happening to people now, but on a slower level, they are just working on cranking up the hertz because it's a range. But once it gets into a certain range, it'll interfere with your body's ability to cycle oxygen. So I was telling, because they've been having work, you know, telephone work and all that. I said, so a virus is infecting the planet? Yes or no? She's like, no. I'm like, okay. Is a virus infecting you? I don't know. Are you both organic beings? Yes. Right? So if that can't catch a virus, what's affecting it? Because whatever is affecting it is affecting y'all. And I said, did your modem switch to 5G automatically? He was like, yeah. I was like, see? They have an automatic switch. Most people don't even know.
Yeah, it was 5G. I
Because it switches to 5G. Immediately, your phones, your phones switches. They're not going to ask you any questions. So I was like, okay, that makes sense. Right at the time they would be doing this, they do that, and over time keep people's minds away from 5G and on some boogie virus, and just keep cranking the energy up, which is why they're pushing for y'all to buy into those companies who fund 5G. Verizon, T-Mobile, the phone companies, and then these other subsidiary companies that you don't know. After that, they was like, man, I don't know what the hell. I was like, that's all you're doing is killing yourself. You know what I'm saying? I gave some information about the CDC, what they were saying, because everybody loves the CDC. So I gave them the CDC, the statistics, right? And that was that. 8 months later, my mother's 75 pounds down, no medication. Her doctor prescribes me for her. Her doctor prescribes me for her. For those who trust the doctor, a doctor prescribes me because I don't get the white coat they got too. The white coats have too much influence, and they're only making better drug users, manageable drug users. That's it. Nothing getting better. Pain just going. I don't know. It was here. Now it's here. What happened? I don't know. It's just I don't know. I'm gonna go see Doc. Then Doc just set you up for the last 3. Yeah, but it'll. Has anybody ever seen them fix anything without you going back and with you having all of your natural body parts? I'll wait. Wow, wait, I might need to think. You got a question?
I was going to say, I worked in health insurance for 3 years. Very different departments, speaking to members on the phone, customer service, graduating to just handling appeals and grievances and problem solving all day. And also I saw claims. I worked in the claims department, right? So I see how much, if you went to your doctor's office, the doctor's gonna write the claim for the insurance company, that's how they get paid. Doctors you pay them, but they get bigger bucks from insurance. I literally was able to see the price of a doctor visit, the price of a complaint. Everything you say in a doctor's office, they're right. They're not listening. They're listening to you, and they're asking you more questions because they need more line items. Because every line item is a price tag for them.
Wow.
The more symptoms, you tell them.
Brilliant.
If you go and say, "Yo, your main concern is a knee issue."
Wow.
Anything else wrong with you? A slight headache. Yeah. I didn't sleep this well. Lack of sleep. Everything you say.
They just run the bill up.
And they're running the bill, and then they bring it to insurance companies. Oh, this member got
I didn't know that.
6 symptoms? Well, you really went in for it's tell you chief complaint. It'll tell you like main complaint, knee, other stuff, anything other than you complained about. And so they get paid based on that. And now doctors prescribing you things that you don't even need.
But they know what's going on because it's going to lead you to something that they do need, that cancer bonus. They only shoot for big bucks.
Yeah.
COVID and cancer, the 2 C's.
And
That's where they
as
come
long as they can cut you up, they're gonna do that. So they're gonna recommend something invasive before anything holistic.
Absolutely.
Because the goal is to how many people can we funnel into the house of the dead.
Yeah, which is what a hospital said. That's what it stands for. Like literally, the root definition of hospital is the house of the dead. It's the experimentation spot. Right. And I read the experiments on Negroes from Obama's term with the H1N1. Which is how I knew what they was going to do this time with the same type of
just a test to get to this.
Because they wanted to see why our lymphocytes respond the way they do, which is why we have more damaging symptoms. Our immune systems are stronger. So they make us believe the symptom is the sickness. So they'll be like, oh, you're sick. Oh, you come in. But you're supposed to be coughing. You're supposed to be, that's your body's way of kicking ass. You're supposed to be, if that's not happening, you probably already dead.
If you don't feel pain.
If you don't feel pain, if you don't feel your body working, fever, coughing, mucus just escaping. That's called mucociliary release. There's only 2 ways. It goes down through the sinus, to the pharynx, and going up from the lungs, and it escapes through there. That's why you hawk spitting, whether it comes from the drainage here or from the chest. But no water, that's not moving. Are we still learning how to drink water? So I had a conversation. I'm gonna open up for the food in a second. But I just had a conversation right before I got here. This is why I was running late, because I don't stop working. And I was explaining to the brother on the phone about density. I said everything about, like I said, the solid state, the liquid state, gas state, right? They push density, so constriction, vasopressin instead of nitric oxide. No dilation, headaches. You know what I mean? Both heads aching. No life, no functionality. Because they bank on your behavior driving you to their pockets and the grave. So your behavior leads to that, right? So I said, when you're eating cheese and all of that, it causes constriction, it clogs up your arteries. That's density. That's you turning into ice. That's no good. You're supposed to stay fluid, right? The moment you start putting your sea moss and everything, warm water, room temperature, immediately you're like, man, I feel good, you know? You can't even explain it. You just like, I feel more like, you know, I can move better. You keep that going, eliminate all of that stuff. Now your body's in the water state like it's supposed to. So all the joints, you don't feel the cracking and I gotta stretch it out myself and like my wrist, and that's density issue. You can eat food and not deal with density issues, being so dense, so solid. No blood can flow. Our men are having heart attacks left and right now. Heart failure. So many daughters calling me for their fathers and their older brothers. It's crazy. The ages is like 10 years away from me. 44, 45, 55. I'm like, what the hell is going on? You know what and it's because we would rather watch Jay-Z, Beyonce, do a TikTok afterwards, and then go eat some fuel in the form of a hot dog. Sell that cheap. Oh, just eat something. Go do that dance. Yeah. Go do that dance. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna do it together. Saying how it go, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna do it together. Please. I'm telling my daughter, look through your telescope at the stars. Get away from the phone. She got 2 telescopes in her house. From 2 of her fathers, me and her stepfather. So it's teamwork, make the dream work around here. You know what I mean? And that won't happen unless you're making the dream work for your first team. You know what I'm saying? If your cells ain't working for you, anti-aging won't happen. Those telomeres will be wiped out and you'll be 35 looking 85. I see elders be out walking, man, they be running laps around because they have one thing, wisdom. Right. They just don't have any more intelligent youth to keep them updated. Windows update. We on 98 still. We need Windows 2023. They can help us with a lot, but if we don't come with the other, like, oh, guess what? This is what, oh, no wonder, because back in we used to do, we having the same conversation. Cool, let's do it like this then. Now I got something that you could do it faster with, Grandma. You ain't got to do it like that. That's your part. Let me speed it up for you. She give you the recipe, now you give it to your children. So, with that, thank you for your time. I'm not going to take too much more time. You can ask me any questions after the event.
What'd you make?
Fonio, teriyaki oyster mushrooms, and yeah, that's it. Something like
Where'd you get the fonio from?
Fonio is hard to get. We actually found this in Atlanta at the, I forgot the name of the damn. So it starts with an S. Savan something. Serenata, something like that. It's in Decatur. You know, I think you know what I'm talking about.
And plus the Cow Farmers Market, that's like
Cow Farmers Market?
Yeah, that's like the Alkaline Disney World.
Okay. We got anybody going? Because I'll be in North Carolina this coming weekend for the Alkaline Festival. So I might try to slide to Georgia.
Can you tell me more about that?
I ain't post that yet. I see my page out there. I got you. This after I'm done.
All right.
They have everything down to, they sell it by the pound. Like I bought 10 pounds of tap flour.
That's why I'm buying.
They have in the back where like you could actually sell things from there because you could buy it by the pound.
That's what land is about. That's why it's important that we lost the land. They drove our ancestors from the south to take the land. That's why we buy so much. You walk in all food shortage? I'm not going through. I was going in. I forgot who I was talking to yesterday. I said, you'll be going through food shortage. You. They hard, right? I'm like, I'm not going through no food shortage. They don't control nature. They don't own it.
Correct.
They control what they control, which leads us away from nature to make us think that we're gonna, listen, if you don't know how to identify red clover, you got it all over your house. Yellow dot, all around your house. Dandelion. That's why I meant dandelion. If you're stepping over dandelion and you believe the food shortage, you can pick the greens too. Dandelion's got the greens, so you don't just need the root. I'm not talking to you. 2021, I'm coming with a new vibe. No more zombies. I'm not talking to any more zombies. I'm not. Somebody got to set the standard. I will. I'll do it. So, and we need a new standard for our children because the standard we setting for them is not happening. It's not it. It's not happening. So, thank you. I appreciate your attention. Like, this was on the fly. I had no plans to do this, but I'm just as important as my team and vice versa. So failure is not an option, and excuses don't work with me. Thank you. I appreciate your time. Thank you. So,
we met probably 2 years ago. My homeboy I went to high school with is a microbiologist. He works at a lab and everything like that. When I linked him up with Khalil, my man was like, yo, be official. So it shows you that he's on his shit for real, minus the education. My homeboy, like I said, he works with a bunch of chemicals, all of that stuff. But he verified. I didn't need that. I was already rocking him, so I'm the one that introduced him. But trust and believe, if you haven't worked with him, it's definitely worth it. Hands down.
I got another testimonial though. Cause the brother Khalil helped my grandfather who had prostate cancer.
Wait, say that louder, cause that's for the men to hear.
I said no, Khalil helped my grandfather. He was diagnosed with prostate cancer. Mind you, he's like 80, 89, 88, somewhere around there. Strong as an ox, healthier than most people out here walking, believe it or not. The doctors tell my mother all the time. If she was here, she'd be able to tell you more because she's constantly going to the appointments and everything. But just that I know that he's the truth, besides him helping myself and my mother, is I said, Khalil, look, we took him back. They said it came back again, right? A week later that he was supposed to go to the doctor, we had to reschedule. Called Khalil. Khalil said, look, I put the blend together, you come pick it up. I said, all right. The next week we had to take him. That junk shrunk down to like 90%. By 90%, I'm like, damn, that's 1 week. You know what I'm saying?
Experiences, right?
Right. I'm like, damn, that's 1 week. Same thing, I came to him about my uncle, and I didn't even follow up right with my uncle, but the other day I was at their house. I said, how did that tea work out for you? So I went back to the doctor, I'm fine now. You know what I mean? And he was diagnosed with prostate cancer. I'm like, oh, okay.
I appreciate that.
You know what I mean?
I don't know it. I don't know. I just work it.
Hi, so I just had to speak a little bit. I'm Dejanay's mom.
That's me,
I'm a mom of 5. Grandmother of 8.
You got a lot.
But anyway, you know, I work a lot, and sometimes, you know, I get a little, you know, sloppy with my eating. So all of a sudden I start, you know, I love me some potato chips. So one day she came home, she was like, oh, mommy, my stomach hurt. I was like, mine hurt too. Not from the potato chips, but I just don't know where I went wrong, you know, slipping. I try not to eat fried chicken. Now, sometimes, you know, I do try to indulge in it a little bit, but then I stop. So I told Dejanay, I was like, oh, Dejanay, I was like, oh my goodness. I said, my stomach is killing me. And I was going to the bathroom frequently. So she was like, you know what, mommy? She was like, hold that thought. Went upstairs in her room, got this tea. From Khalil. Well, I didn't know the brother. She said, I got this from my friend. She said, drink this, you're gonna feel much better. So I was like, okay, drank it. 15 minutes later, went right to the bathroom, came back, I was like, whoa! I was like, what was in that? So then she was like, it's the truth. And I said, oh my God. I said, after that, I said, no more of the potato chips. No. I said, I drank the tea for like 3 days straight in a row. And it cleansed me out so well. Like, and you know how women, and it always say, you know, that food that we eat, it carries us right here where what's the joke the guy say, you know, you have a booty do of food. Right here in the front, you know, you have the backside and then you have your front. So I was like, okay, after that, you know, you still, I work out and everything, but now, because I'm 58, I said I have to, women, we have to watch what we eat. And I'm very active. I mean, I do it all. No TikTok, none of that. I do it all. We have to stay healthy. So whatever he has to cleanse our soul, to clean us out and get us properly ready, because this is going to be a food shortage. I'm let y'all know. We have to be ready. Not with us.
No.
Meaning us, yo.
We have to be ready. Definitely have to be ready. So, ladies, gentlemen, that's all I have to say.
Thank you. Yes.
One, what is in like your herbal teas? And then 2, do you recommend like a water?
Yeah, personal.
Get the checkbook out. I'm just joking. Let me go. I'm coming over here so I can hear you.
Yeah.
So you don't have to yell.
Also, like for his grandfather, did you recommend like a fast with the teas or, yeah?
Fast? No. Well, it's kind of like a fast. You know what I mean? You want to really simplify. Your body loves simplicity. especially the gut area, it loves not having to do no work with digesting because it's only meant to process and distribute. So after it gets what it needs, you may not even be full, but you're satisfied. It just cuts off. That's your hormones, right? So I would say eat the least compromising that you can eat. You know what I mean? I always have a tier system. So you got 3 main groups. You got your fats, or I would say your lipids. So you keep your hemp seeds. Hemp seeds, top choice. Chia seeds is good. Sesame seeds, everybody needs to write sesame seeds down now because it's the only seed that has more calcium than meat and all of that. So we're talking calcium. So
or tahini, or if you don't, you know.
That's sesame seeds in a butter. So you know, that area, because we always sleep on the fats. No one just walks around with trail mix all the time. Only certain people I know, but most people don't even know where's your fat source. I don't know. You need fat. Your omega-3s is what keeps inflammation down. And omega-6 boosts inflammation because you need both. But one will be overexcited if you create the environment for inflammation. Now just inflammatory central, swelling, pain, the greens and everything else, the fruits take away from that. And then the herbs will be able to do what it does without compromise because they're familiar phytochemicals, you know what I'm saying? So it's really about just minimizing, which is a form of a fast, but words, I'm big on wordplay. Especially when you're talking to elders, I usually say, eat this and not that. You're like, oh, okay, I got it. Yep, you know what I'm saying? So to my brother, I'm like, yeah, fast for a couple days, do a mono fast, only eat blueberries, da-da-da, okay, I got you. So it's all about, but they mean pretty much the same thing because he's not able to eat certain foods that he may normally eat with no compromise. Just because it doesn't give you compromise doesn't mean you're supposed to eat it when you're eating for healing. You're eating for protocol, so it's all about the best. What's the best greens I can get? Dandelion, amaranth, cilantro. Everybody, women, cilantro. Chelate your cells, keeps breast cancer away. Cilantro, heavy metals, the best heavy metal, cellular chelation. We hear about chelation, that is cellular waste. Cilantro is an everyday, you can juice with it, you can put it in your salads. Many of us been using it. It's, you know, it's a part of our heritage, which leads me to the question. I tried to get out of it.
Oh, I like how you
Segue. What does it mean to be a sovereign citizen? I hear conflicting info online, but I know it's essential to a holistic transition. Whoever wrote this, talk to me after, because I need to give you a hug.
2-part.
It's 2-part, and it's important. Well, all I'm gonna say is this, right? I'm gonna try to keep this simple. The reason why we're even doing this is because what the colonizer did first was take us away from our heritage, which has everything to do with eating, food, relationship, whether we're giving foods away to family or whether we're trading, whatever system around food, the food itself, everything dealing with food and nourishment was hijacked, hidden, if not hidden, destroyed, and you know, you buy from us. Which is why they can talk this food shortage when you're standing on the most agriculturally rich land on the planet, which means you don't have to worry about wild. You can actually throw a seed and go to sleep and it'll wake up and it'll be grown. That's what arable land means, right? So we used to do that. We had agricultural practices, but the Europeans came and introduced their equipment and agricultural practices and charged the debt more than we can pay. And over time, we became citizens indebted. That's what your money is backed with, debt, right? It's a paper note. It's not backed by gold, it's backed by your sweat equity, because you don't know you're a corporate citizen. You think you're a real person. In their eyes, you're not.
Like that.
So when they're shooting you down in the street, you're not a real person.
That's why I'm not walking or riding for nothing.
There you go. So sovereignty starts here, and that's why they had to take away the things that made us sovereign. Being able to do for self, self-sufficiency. We didn't need anything, and that is holistic. That's why I said whoever asked that is brilliant, because this is a cultural issue. If you don't think your food is connected with your culture, ask your microbiome. Ask your gut bacteria what it's been used to generations, because your mother's gut bacteria transferred in the womb, right? That's the little coating you get in the womb that keeps you good for the rest of your life, that bacteria. So it's transferred. So whatever you like, man, I ate this from, yeah, man, we in Jamaica, I don't know, my stomach, because you ain't Jamaican. You're from New Jersey. Your generational family from New Jersey. You breathing in air and bacteria located in New Jersey. But then there's something more historical, which is your homeland, which means where your people has been the longest, and mine is Georgia. So I'm a first generation New Jerseyan, and my mother was born in Georgia. So I'm the first one in her line to be born in New Jersey. So my bacteria got both in it, because my grandparents moved up here. So that's enough generation for my body. Even though I'm still going through seasonal allergies, when I get down south, I feel better than up here. As soon as I hit Georgia, I'm like, this gotta be home. This gotta be home. Breathing get better, all this get better. I'm like, man, why do I feel like this? If you're from Florida, your family from Trinidad, Tobago, once you go home, you're like, yes. Man, like, I'm never going back to Jersey. And it ain't got nothing to do with work or nothing like that. You just feel like, yo, I'm feeling like this is home right now. So we don't think like that, because we'll just let somebody else take care of it. We break something, they'll fix it. You know, oh, they'll fix it. Our women used to be used to the men fixing stuff. Even the health situation. Well, I'll boil some herbs for you. I'll get stuff out. My daughter, anybody, you come around me, you're not gonna be sick around me. So this is protection for myself as well. What you got? All right, drink this. My mother almost drowned on her mucus because my tonic worked so good. She had to curse me out like, you almost killed me last night. I'm like, what happened? She said, I took that tea, man. What? I had to wake up, I'm throwing up mucus. I said, good, as long as it's out. We ain't going back to the hospital. I like to give my people, this is the trainer in me. You know, I like to give people what they want and what they need ASAP. Because I like to make a statement, because everyone thinks it's supposed to be this long, drawn out, oh, when am I going to see it? When am I going to feel it? I'm like, you'll be calling me. And then the next day, like, oh yeah, I felt it. Yeah, we good. I don't have any more questions. And after a while, what happens to the young lady, your shape, everything starts to go back, return. So I just wanted to answer that question because it has a lot to do with your question. Because us as youngins, we weren't taught sovereignty. So we're looking helplessly like, oh, who do I ask? Who do I go to? You're supposed to have the answer. You know what I'm saying? That's supposed to be taught from the parent down to the children. It's the first school. Get your children out of school. You can forget about it. Get your children out of school now. That's all I'm gonna say. And I'm dead serious, just the food alone. Get your children in some kind of homeschooling. New Jersey's laws are so soft. You can teach at home. Our ancestors didn't care about their schooling. They incorporated us in their schools, and that was the reason this country is as advanced as it is now, because our advanced minds are fueling it. But we getting the shorter end of the stick. Get your children out. We're going to have facilities for them. We talking microscopes, telescopes. We bringing sciences back. Get them out of there, because all they teaching them is how to call you, oh, not daddy, parent. Call you parent now. You're not mommy. I'm your mother. No, you're not. You're my parent. Who said that? School. But the gender laws, you know. It's a weak thing, you know. It can't say certain things, mommy. The hell I can't. I can hear that all day long, like, oh, I'm your damn mother. As long as you came out of me, if you signed a birth certificate and didn't naturalize it, no, you're not. You're the donor. That's the state's property. That's why you're nothing but a number.
That's why they can take them.
That's why you're not a human when you go, we want justice. What are they talking about? You're not sovereign. What's your ID? Oh, it says U.S. citizen. If you don't go in the house, we'll shoot you because you're nothing but property. And we're property managers, overseers.
It'll tell you on the back of your Social Security card, honestly, if you look. It says it.
So if nobody's teaching you how to get out, for real, like the movie, cut them off.
They're teaching you how to stay in.
They only filtering you and your energy to make the ego. I know the most. I can tell you the most. That's all. But you're looking for an answer like, no, I need relief. Like, what's next? Oh, you know, you just pay $10.99 for the next clarity. So, yep.
I do want to say one thing too. Goes back to oxygen, goes back to deoxygenated organs. Lack of all of that is our bodies don't know the difference between hunger and thirst. It just knows that it's empty. But what is it empty? What does it want? It just wants nutrients. So there are times when so that's what I mean by overconsumption. We're dehydrated as a nation, as people. If you think you're hungry, or you're stomach, and you just drink water, realize what happens to you. Oh, I'm good. You're probably just thirsty. The cells need water. Water is a semiconductor of electricity. That's why you can use water to make electricity. People with no power lines could run a windmill as long as they have access to water.
And that's why you'll be dead if I threw a microwave in the tub while you was in it. Because you conduct electricity. But if you was in there with oil or fat, wouldn't nothing happen to you. Because oil, just because it's liquid, doesn't mean it conducts electricity. It actually steals. That's why people who are heavy, they insulate themselves and the electricity don't run properly. You just keep pressing and pressing on the nerves, and you keep insulating that power, and then when it should go like this, it's going like that. Just like in the walls. See what I'm saying?
So basically drink more water, because you're probably thirsty. You're probably thirsty, especially in the summertime. Or water-filled fruits. You know, some people say, I don't drink, wow to me, I don't drink water. But like, okay, drink more or eat more foods like watermelon, melons, like, just do that. Take in your water.
High water.
You know what I mean? High water.
And because our lymphatic system is the strong component, that's why they never talk about it. Our lymphatic system is extraordinary compared to any other genetics. But that's also why we lead in lung cancer and smoke half the tobacco as the rest. Because of our response. Our bodies is like, this ain't for you. Beyond them. You are supposed to eat high foods. That's why when they eat foods that are high in nutrients, they may have a breakdown. They may need meat and cheese, low density food. I do it all the time. I helped a Caucasian lady in Ohio beat hype. She had 2 nightmares at the same time. Diabetes, over toxicity with metals, and she had hyperthyroidism. So hyperthyroidism is a little different of a beast than hypo. I could just give you some bladder boost that thyroid up, and you'll be good. Hyperthyroidism, I gotta monitor that down, but I gotta make sure it regulates because that has everything to do with the diabetic issue. Appetite and all of that. So I'm playing like, we having days where I'm like, but you just relax, because it affects. It's like, I haven't got any sleep. I'm like, just follow. The nightmare is the same way on the way out as it was on the way in. You just didn't care on the way in. You didn't care, you just kept eating that dumb stuff. You know what I'm saying? So it's the same thing.
What's your thought process on microwaves? I'm asking because I haven't used one in 15 years.
It's a nuclear bomb for your food.
So I'm saying that for people in the room.
Hollows out all nutrients. If you got a microwave and you think you're gonna do something nutritious, you're probably working against yourself more than anything.
That's probably the number one thing. If you transition, do that. Like, if anything.
That's what they use with radiation and chemo. They put you in the microwave. It's literally the same type of thing. Same heat conductor.
A microwave.
Wave. Wavelength. Your electromagnetic frequency, which is why if you rubbing up against this too much, I might go and shock. He might shock me, right? So we literally conduct energy and we transfer it. So yeah, microwave gets rid of everything lively in you. It just annihilates anything. Enzymes, all of it. You're just eating substance.
And you can imagine how many, like, I use microwaves a lot.
That's why people get this, the first thing that goes so quick is this. It just swells up, clogs up, because it's here to distribute. But if it can't recognize, what are we distributing? All right, just turn it into waste. But hey, we got a clog up, the highway's been clogged, we got no toll booths open, and they keep flooding in dirty junk trucks. We're stuck. There's people who died because they haven't moved any waste. Literally, there's people who go every day because this is just won't move. It's just 50 years of cloggage. Oh,
Stop eating things.
I gotta go. Like, you ain't even walk nowhere. That's cloggage. I'm not even saying that to be funny, but it comes out in those things, in those ways, and we just walk. Oh, you know, just get you some sugar. You need a coffee. Make the burial arrangements now. You gonna put that stress on arteries that's clogged up? No. Which is why the crash hurts so much. It ain't the stimulation, it's the crash. That's why the crash feels the way it feels, because you're not healthy, and that's just stimulation. You need raw energy. Cellular waste, elimination, and then keep your cells from brewing more waste than accepting more nutrients. Over time, you'll live the best life you could without the gym. I've taken 40 pounds off of someone 30 days without the gym. I've done it with both men and women, so women, oh, my weight did. Most of my clientele base is women, because women have a more dynamic biology to deal with than men. So if you could get a woman's body, men is easy. Just boost the testosterone up, that cooks up everything. You know what I mean? Get them herbs. I got another testimonial right here. This is recent, this is current. Yeah.
Same here. I lost my weight. I had a lot of bloating. Got pregnant. I'm not sucking it in no more. Shit. It's totally
Flex. Yo, you do it anyway.
Pulled from a little bucket, at least most of us. When I pulled my white piece and said, you already know the answer, trust the process. Now, this is very unique to me because knowing the answer and thinking you know the answer is two different things. A lot of times we think we know. A lot of times we don't actually know. Real trust does not really have doubt. It does require a certain type of risk. But to trust the process is to come up like I'm doing now and not necessarily try to figure out what do the people want to hear. I already know what it is. You understand? You already know what it is. So at the end of the day, all we have to do is be present in the same space. If you're here, if you're in this space right now, it's because you already have the intention that you want to be a better you. And then to me, you have to give yourself credit for that. A lot of times we're constantly striving and being competitive with somebody outside of us, when you can already be grateful for the journey that you're on. And that's a part of this process when we talk about food. If we're gonna call this event Keys to Transition, oh yeah, feel free to take a bite now, y'all. Y'all fake, cause y'all was like, all right, keep, goddamn, say what you gotta say, but shit. So I'm gonna end up being
Yeah, it is.
Look, all right, so let me talk about that since that's what y'all are enjoying, and then I'll pick back up on what I was talking about. So what you're experiencing right now is what I call a living mineral bite. For those of you who keep up with me, not too long ago I completed a 40-day water fast. I call it a water fast, not because I only drank water, because I drank water of the earth, right? So the first 21 days was water, actually. But then the next 10 days was melon water. That's what it's called. And then after that, I did seeded grape juice. And I ended it in DR, which is amazing because I was international traveling, right? And so that ended up being 40 days. And during that journey, I continued cooking for people. And at one of the events, I decided I was going to trust the process. And I'm going to bring something a little different. Not something that intrigues you physically, but something that's actually more nourishing to you. And this doesn't require much effort. This is just dates, sprouted walnuts. Why are they sprouted? Because you want your enzymes in your food to be activated so that you can optimize the digestion. So all you need to do is soak them overnight. Now, why does this make sense? Why is this not something that requires science? Because if you put water in the food, of course it's gonna be easier to digest. If I spill something and wipe it up with this napkin, this is gonna crumble up way easier. It's just common sense, essentially. However, the further away we get away from water, the further away we get away from our common sense. Just think about it, literally, right? So we sprout the walnuts. Easy, that's simple. You have fresh coconut jelly in your mineral bite. Now, a lot of times when people hear coconut, they think that is going to be relative to a nut allergy. A coconut grows at the top of a tree. When that nut drops, that tree actually regrows from that coconut, which means that coconut is actually a seed. So don't get confused with some of the nomenclature of how we identify these foods. That food is so diverse that it's my favorite food because it's the only food that you can eat and drink. You can make lunch, dinner, and breakfast out of this one fruit, so it's highly electrical. On top of that, it grows at such an altitude that it's designed for it to be electrical. It's growing towards the sun the same way our hair does, right? So this is the same reason why you need to trust the process. What else is in there? We got Ceylon cinnamon, sea moss, and bladderwrack. So the dessert that you just enjoyed is basic. It only required a food processor, and that's if you have one. If you don't, you can take an old school, put your hands in there, and just crush it up. When you travel, you see how much people are, how much we improvise with what little we just have. But when you consistently have luxury, you don't realize how much luxury is around you. When you make soursop juice overseas, you just squeeze it. That's it. Here, we feel inhibited because we see some of the people we look up to using ninja blenders, etc. None of that's necessary. Because what you're doing is you're saying that your ancestors didn't have access to nourishment because they didn't have these technologies. But ultimately, we're so spoiled that we do less. The more we advance in technology, the less we accomplish, which is a contradiction to what it's set out to do. I hear people say that some of this technology is a bad thing. I hear people say that money is evil. Anything you attach positive and negative to comes from you. Everything is really generally neutral. You decide whether it's positive or negative. And that's how we need to look at life. So when we talk about keys to transition, a lot of times we keep talking about, well, how do I get this mushroom to taste like chicken? That's what you're trying to figure out. Ultimately, the chicken is seasoned with vegetables. So how are you going to try to get vegetables to taste like what they already are? That's what the issue is. So what we need to talk about when we talk about transitioning, we need to talk about transitioning our mentality, because that's what's going to come first. Your body was here after you. You was in the womb already being cultured a long time ago. Before you even got in the womb, you was in somebody's ball sack. Let's keep it real. That person was already experiencing before that. So before you had this body, there was already some manifest consciousness. So when we talk about transitioning, you see I only have a few items, because what I want to prioritize is not just transitioning this food to get something that tastes better, but really for you to transition holistically. Because we talk about holistic healing, but what does that really mean? What causes somebody like Dr.Sebi not to eat for 90 days? What happens to somebody like that on that journey? Why does somebody tell you, just do it? Nike told you. It's more believable when it's a brand. But that's real life. Like, this is really a manifestation and an affirmation. You really have to take time to take a chance on what you believe in, period. It's really simple, but we make it complex because we're lazy. Why are you lazy? Because you got an encyclopedia in the palm of your hand. So you have so much access that you don't use it. You will be more apt to get a recipe book with 5 recipes in it and maximize that book than if somebody say, I got this one with 100. You'll probably only make 3 of those recipes. Because there's an illusion happening in your mind. You want all this abundance, but you won't accept it. A part of having abundance is actually receiving it. You can have a house. It's just like the people who put the plastic over their furniture. You never felt the furniture. You have yet to experience the abundance that's around you. So that's what these transitions is really about. What do you have access to? I really hear a lot of people talking about what they don't have. What are you going to do with what you don't have? What are you going to do with it? You talking about, oh, I can't get teff. Teff is not the only grain. Just because you see somebody making that don't mean you got to have it. First of all, our environment is set up for us to thrive in that environment. Seasons grow certain foods for certain reasons. Why does watermelon grow in the summer? Because it be hot as hell. You need water. But you still trying to fry some oyster mushrooms. Literally. You still trying to figure out how I make my barbecue sauce. Meanwhile, I'm not eating my pizza. Everybody like, yo, I thought you was gonna bring pizza. I'm like your parent at this point. I gotta tell you, look, bro, you don't need pizza every day. So I don't make it every weekend. People be blowing my DMs up like, I am not your employee. I don't do this for money. And we was doing this for money.
Did they ask you if it delivered?
Oh, delivery. Yo! I was DiGiorno way before DiGiorno came out, bro. Because it's like, at the end of the day, you are also making yourself so dependent on me. You're not letting me exercise my own independence. And if I perpetuate that, then who am I to you? Love is accountability, and it looks different to certain people sometimes. When somebody like, I can't give you this money, I know you're gonna fuck it off. Now you like, damn, you don't want to do shit for me. Like, you could think of all the reasons that person don't look out for you, but ultimately, it hurts because, well, clearly pain feels good. There's clearly an illusion. When you go to the gym and you be sore as hell the next day while you wake up, I feel good. You really feel good off the pain. So there's this same thing comes with food, but it comes with mentality and what we call spirit. People who believe in spirituality also believe in chakras. And all the chakras have colors. So if you look on this stage right now, there's an abundance of colors. That's intentional, but nature did that for us. We never had to guess. So when you talk about education, you educate yourself by allowing yourself to experience. It's that simple. You don't need to say, who do I need to go to? You need to go to you. The person you're following, they just chose to do what they chose to do with their life. All you got to do is choose to do the same thing in your own way. A lot of times we're constantly trying to copycat what we see somebody doing because we think they're successful. But they are successful in their own merit. They're doing what works for them. What you have to understand is that what's so beautiful about the universe is that we're one collective of unique, different individuals, all in the same bubble. That's beautiful, because now I don't ever have to copy you, because I'm me. It's easy now. So anything you do that you accomplish that I can't, I don't have to worry about it, because I have my own things that I'm great at. You feel me? So constantly, people like, they want me to be at their whim, and I refuse to do it because as a school teacher, I learned something. When you hold kids' hands, they never learn how to walk. They learn how to hold your hand. When you was getting your ass whooped when you was a kid, you wasn't learning shit. You was learning how to be scared. You was learning how to dodge. You feel me? You didn't learn the actual concept of what you was supposed to be taught in that moment. If I don't want you to go in there without, go in the kitchen and get snacks without asking me, you're not gonna learn that from the hit. You have to learn that from understanding why you shouldn't do it, right? So as a teacher, I'm like, wow, if I wanna exercise freedom, I have to stop being a teacher. You understand? I have to show my students what it looks like to walk away from the system. Not continue being here like, if I leave, they're not gonna have nobody look out for them. No, when I leave, they're gonna learn how to look out for themselves because I'm not gonna be there. That's what the blessing was when our pops wasn't around. A lot of us are handicapped because we decided that in our minds. Oh, I didn't have all of these assets like him or her, so now I'm not capable. But you already created that reality just by thinking it. So now, when you talk about food, everybody trying to figure out all these conspiracies, government doing this. There's so many ways that we being toxified. We don't need to even focus on that. It's happening all day, every day, but that's how blessed we are. You know, it's brothers on cigarettes, smoking weed all day, and they go outside and it would dunk on you. On your alkaline ass. I'll bring your alkaline ass. Because we we built like that. You really gotta be like, damn, bro, like we resilient. We have constant images of being killed and pillaged, and we know all this tragedy that comes behind us, but everything that happens to us becomes a type of culture. Anything they've done to us, we've learned how to make it fun. We came up with Negro spirituals. It's only, you can't think of nothing. We turned skinny jeans into some fresh shit. You feel me? Like that shit was like, you know, skinny jeans. Now it's like, you go skinny jeans. So it just shows you what we're capable of. It's the adaptability. That's what I feel like my greatest ability is. If somebody like, I really think about where's that ending ability, like accountability. My greatest asset is my ability to adapt. If you put me in somewhere, I'm going to respond to it, no matter what. But some of us, we depend on others to adapt. That means now you are subject to your environment, the same way a lot of us become subject to our food. This is something I realized on my fast, and even now, I just did 2 3-day water fasts after the 40-day water fast. So I had to realize that addiction creeps in like a sexy woman, you feel me? She looks so good, you're not paying attention. You just like, shit, come in. You don't care what she really doing, you feel me? And I was watching on the movie like, wow, you can get bamboozled by whatever your addiction is. But you have to manage it by being conscious of what's happening. So now, we passed, in my opinion, we're past the titles of what your lifestyle is. We're past all this electricity. Y'all, so many people don't even understand electricity, talking about electric dinner. You don't even know what that is. You ain't never been shocked. You know what I'm saying? Like, none of that even matters. You don't need to say, oh, this is alkaline. Do your body feel alkaline? Or is your Instagram post alkaline? Like, what's the difference? What's really happening? Like, what's the truth? You feel me? That's the question you need to ask yourself. So, in that scenario, this is when you start being just more conscious about what you're doing. If you eat black beans and your body's cool with that, you don't gotta be like, you see the Dr.Sebi be like, shit, I mean, it ain't on the list, bro, but shit, it's good to me. You don't gotta feel guilty, that's your life. That person has nothing to do with you. Ask that person who have they healed. That's the real question. If you're not healing yourself with somebody else, you don't even have no merit anyway. And you yourself feeling guilty about somebody else's lifestyle, you deserve to feel how you feel. How you gonna feel guilty about how somebody else living? I know y'all have dealt with this before. You start getting more healthy every time your family see you. They like, shit.
Eating like a rabbit again.
Or not even that. They gonna be like, shit, this gonna be my last steak, bro. They just start pouring their guilt on you. Like, oh, you see that? Like this. You feel me? They feel guilty, but it has nothing to do with you. And that's also not your responsibility. These are transitional things that you should think about. A lot of times you want to save other people. That's like unconscious living because it's not possible. But you say it though. You will give somebody advice. Yo, you know you can't save nobody for yourself, and then you out here trying to save everybody. You're really not practicing it, so it's unconscious. So when you say that you woke, you really, you know, Dr.Sebi talked about how many people was walking around with one eye open. That's some real stuff though, because when you're really conscious, you lose the desire to try to make other people conscious. You know they sleep. How the hell you gonna wake them up? You already know that they wake up on their own merit. You feel me? That's real consciousness. So when you notice like how you was comfortable around old folks, is because they so wise. They've lived enough years to know when you get mad, they laughing at your ass. That's wisdom, but you want to really practice that, and that's up to you. And if you don't, that's cool too. It's fun. It's life. Live. Feel me? We let so much stress us out. When I was in DR at the end of my fast, I'm looking at everybody around me. I'm like, they don't really got wrinkles in their face. You feel me? They skin clear. They eat meat. But that's because that's vibrance. Your skin is a certain measure of how vibrant you are. You walk up to somebody like, damn, you glowing. That's a real thing. That's not no pregnancy shit. You feel me? They be really glowing because of the environment they in. They spend a lot of time with their family. They're outside a lot. They're moving constantly. The people I was living with are 70 and 80. They get up at 5 a.m. Not because they're going to work. They ask going for a walk. I'm like, damn, that's gangster. You feel me? 70 years old, like, no coffee. You feel me? Just going for a stroll. How many people in their 20s and 30s is going for a stroll at 5 a.m.?
Very few.
On their own merit. Not, no, I learned this shit on TV, Arnold Schwarzenegger, all this Netflix. Nobody.
YouTube.
You just doing it because if you know anything about electricity, you know that electricity requires movement. There is no electricity for something that's stagnant. The reason that the ocean is so powerful is because it never stops moving.
Yeah.
The reason that the foods that grow in the ocean are so vibrant is because they live in electricity. A sea vegetable, look at the pigment in this seaweed. This is blackness. This is melanin. This is why I'm starting to lean more towards this type of food, even if you look at what Khalil brought. Sometimes you want to add this in because your sea salt is not iodized. And we assume that iodine is bad for you. These nutrients is necessary for you. And if they come in sea vegetables, they resonate with you. Your body is...
You can't eat water.
You feel me? I ain't even need to say it. You know how much water is in your body. And when you get excited about sea moss, you begin to neglect all the other sea vegetables that are so easy to find. Kill. Dulce tastes like bacon. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. But we have to get away from trying to make our lifestyles like the ones we overcame already. Why does everybody still want a vegan chicken sandwich? That is not even real. How is it a vegan chicken?
I thought it was just me.
The chicken technically was vegan before he got to you. So technically, all of the chicken is vegan chicken. You feel me? But still, we live in this lifestyle. This is like toxic relationships, right? You got over the relationship with the person that was abusing you to go get a vegan abuser. Because he vegan. Now the abuse is different. I'm just saying, that's how we doing this stuff with food. You want, damn, how can I get some calamari? Like, why? Why won't you just let the kale be the kale? It's its own thing, you feel me? As soon as people see me making this in the back, you making sushi? Hell no. I'm wrapping some quinoa. Ain't no names to this. How many names did, yo, if you notice, a lot of the ancient cultures, they eat some of the same foods because those are the foods that are around them. They keep eating kimchi in China. Our people in Africa, they keep eating injera in Ethiopia. But that's what they have. You feel me? I'm going to keep eating mangoes. It ain't here. But like he said, I know where to go to feel vibrant. And that's where most of us go. How do you feel in New York, New Jersey winter versus the summertime? That shit is different. Your vitamin D has been so long for so long that you haven't realized that you are not you. So your behavior, even this is consciousness though. This is what I want to bring y'all to. We want to transition to a state of consciousness. Fuck all the food. Like everybody trying to figure out how to make my pizza. I'm like, this shit is nothing. It can't do nothing. First of all, it's baked on 400 plus degrees. That is not a lifestyle you want to create for yourself. That is something you do to exercise your ability to experience. That's a whole nother thing. Cooking, all of this is just art. We're just having fun with our life. But this is not something that you need to survive. We can survive on apples.
Yeah.
So when people like, yeah, I just want to, you know, it's just so hard being vegan. Like, I don't want to hear that. If you really was doing this to survive, like, and you wanted to be healthier, you got everything you need. Nobody has an excuse. Babies and kids have so little of requirement when it comes to nutrition that they're the ones who teach you. I promise you, you give baby avocado and a mango, he gonna eat it, he gonna be quiet. but we feeding them all this candy and then sending them mixed messages because you gonna get them some damn pixie sticks and then tell them make sure they eat their vegetables. Like, what are you talking about? You walking around with a muffin top telling your kid how to eat. Your kid was crying and resisting all the different things you was giving them until you trained them because you the one they trust first, especially as a mom. You built the relationship with your child way before they came out. So you're the first person that baby trusts. Regardless of how you feel, how you treat them, your understanding of parent, which means you have a certain responsibility. And it doesn't matter what it takes. That's the point that I'm at. There is no more, well, I mean, shit, I work 10 hours. You choose to work 10 hours. Let's be real. Why is everybody making an excuse about jobs? You're literally you creating a reality where we have to work. Everybody talking about eat to live with 3 sides, which was usually not sides. I used to think mac and cheese was a vegetable. I'm dead ass. I thought that was an actual side. I'd be like, shit, you had your meal, you feel me? Cheese, corn, and the corn was cream corn with some sweet shit in it. So we was just eating straight death and starch. But you know, dinner usually is heavy. And my lifestyle has taught me that dinner should actually be a little lighter because that's the meal before you put your car in the shop. Before you go to sleep, you go into reparation mode. You go into letting your body repair and go to work. So what you want to do when you pull that car in there, you don't want there to be hella jobs. You got your alternator fucked up and your transmission slipping. You just want to go in there for an oil change. And that's going to make it lighter on your sleep. It's going to make it lighter on you when you wake up. So this was another intention for me behind what I'm sharing with y'all tonight. You don't want to go to bed off something that's super heavy.
Say thank you.
No problem. Because sometimes what's going to happen is you're actually not even going to digest that meal. People don't know that that's possible. There are days that some people go without actually digesting. And I actually remember this experience after eating some of them damn, in college, we used to love them goddamn 30-pack of frozen burgers. Oh, man. And you know, right before I became health conscious, we had some of them burgers and I didn't use the toilet for 3 days. And I was like, you know, I wasn't vegan or nothing yet, but I was like, what the hell? I was trying to push, I was constipated, all that, and it wasn't working. And when I was eating, I told my homies, even the lettuce, I'm like, bro, all this tastes fake, like it tastes artificial. And now living the life, no problem, living the lifestyle I live now, I know that that's a real process. If somebody took a bite, see, y'all gonna be slipping again.
If you had sauce or anything, if I wasn't supposed to eat, I violated.
Look, you know.
I already know his sauce. I'm waiting. I know you.
Y'all wrong.
I was waiting because I knew it was
Yo, y'all crazy. Go ahead, grab one. You got one question. Yo, I'm gonna let y'all. Oh. Y'all ain't right. I feel like everything I said didn't mean shit. This is what Lil did. He was like, I'm gonna talk to their ass first. If I would have handed the food out, niggas would have laughed. Like, yeah, I gotta work tomorrow. What you said about Monday? That shit starts tomorrow, bro. Y'all crazy, bro. Yeah, I wanted to look. Nah, it was good. Nah, look, and you look. He ready. You ready to take some sauce by himself? All right, so yeah, we're gonna do this family style. So I'm gonna actually let y'all drizzle your portion on me. Greet this a lot of people in here, and then pass it around. Since it's a lot of us in here, and it's only one father.
How much would you recommend? Just a little squirt or a little box?
Oh, you heard it.
Yeah, I can't even say that. I might violate.
It's up to you.
But yeah, no, just cover this enough. What's up, bro? I mean, anyway, everybody get one? Brother in the pink, you didn't get one, right?
Yeah, I got one.
Oh, you got one? Anybody else didn't get one?
Thank you.
All right, well, whoever won.
Young King, you got some?
Oh, he didn't get one, right?
Because
He was the first one.
Oh, hey, it's all over here. I didn't even catch him. But nah, I gotta do it for the kids. He gotta make sure he gets some sauce, whoever has the sauce. Here you go.
That's how we break generational curses. That's
why you gotta give it to him.
That's amazing.
All right, make sure the sauce makes it this way. That sauce, oh, I want to tell y'all about the sauce because it's so easy.
Yeah, please.
You know, sauce really save a whole dish.
It really does.
A whole dish, man.
So,
It save a whole dish.
Yo, I didn't realize.
Did you get some?
I didn't realize how much like we love sauce, bro.
I know.
Well, but that's good because sometimes sauces are water-based, flavorful parts of the meal that help you get the flavor and help you get some more water. It's not always water, but a lot of times, like people, the foreigners are melanated foreigners. They eat a lot of stews with their bread, so their bread is never stiff.
yeah.
They got a whole bowl of everything. And it's a bunch of combinations, so that works out. Now with this sauce, this one is fairly easy, and something I like with quinoa in particular is to mix it with something sweet. What was I can't remember what it brought me to. I think it was rice. When I used to eat white rice, I wasn't born in the South, but I came from the South to New York. We used to mix butter and white rice with some sugar. Whoa! Bruh. Y'all see what I'm saying?
I know.
Hey, y'all ain't never had it. I know for a fact. Facts.
That might be Alabama. That must be some other
Look, anybody who's shaking their head never had it. Raise your hand if you had it and you didn't like it. If you had it but you didn't like it. Exactly. You didn't like it?
No, I did not like it.
What kind of butter you use? Word, dog. Nah, so that's how we used to have it. So when I made quinoa one time, I was like, I can maybe have my rice vibe back. So I put, instead of butter, I did coconut oil. It's still fairly fat. You can put it in after it's done cooking, so you're not breaching that smoking point of the coconut oil. And then you can still add your sweetener, which was agave originally. Agave got hella sugar in it. What people don't know about sugar is that sugar is in sugar. You know what I'm saying? Like, people don't understand the difference between chemical sugar and food sugar.
Yeah.
So, like, there's more sugar in ketchup than sugar.
Yeah.
Yeah, people don't understand a bottle of your usual sauce is about 80% sugar, which is why it's fire. Shit, barbecue sauce?
First of all, barbecue sauce, top 3 condiments of all time.
But ketchup has, if this is a ketchup bottle, it has about this much sugar to the bottom. That's why it's so good. So when you make it at home, when you get exposed to that, that's what make you not want to make it like, damn, I gotta put 2 pounds of sugar in this shit. But that's what you eat when you go out, which is why it's so important for you to do it yourself. Because that's conscious. Now, if I'm gonna do it, at least I know. Sometimes we like not to know, so we don't feel guilty. That's a lie. That's the denial, you know? So I still remember my grandma being like, I grabbed a package of something. She was like, don't read the ingredients as soon as I grabbed it, because she know how I am. I'm going to immediately go through the essay. First of all, if you got more than...
To build with you.
Are y'all ready? All right, y'all got 10 seconds. I'm about to let it go. All right, the sauce.
Liam, right here.
Alright, I'm working for y'all. This sauce is serious, man.
Oh, we're going to call it serious sauce. I like that.
Hold on.
All right, so I didn't measure. I just know what's in it. All right. So the primary 2 components of the sauce, literally, that make up the sauce to get a texture and a taste, is day syrup, to toasted sesame oil, the ratio is like 4-to-1. So let's say if you had 4 cups of day syrup, you have 1 cup of toasted sesame oil. Right? When you whisk that, that's how it gives it that texture. You whisk it together. Oil usually does that. When you whisk oil with anything, it's actually going to give it that creamy-like texture. That's a little secret some people don't know. Otherwise, all you have to do after that is add seasonings that are relative to the meal. So like when I think of a meal like this, that kind of like mimics sushi, teriyaki, all of that, I'm going to do like smoky. And then, of course, I'm going to add the herbs. I actually have applewood smoked sea salt. You can buy that online. So they take charcoal and they smoke it, or they smoke it under a wood, the actual sea salt. So it's still valid salt. It's just been smoked, which is clutch. You know, so the smoked sea salt, oregano, basil, annatto, African bird pepper, ginger. Boom. Oh, and onion powder.
Bird pepper online?
Yeah, I got mine online. I got the actual dry seeds. Okay. So, but you can always use cayenne. Yeah, whatever pepper you got. That's it. So, sea salt, onion powder, ginger, oregano, basil, annatto. But remember, I use smoked sea salt. If you don't have smoke, just add sage. Sage is smoky, right? We know that. And then now, this is where you get to create your own sauces. Play with the different combinations. This is kitchen alchemy. So you like something more sour, add some key lime, some sour orange juice, some lemon, some regular lime. And then add more or less of something that's too present. So if you're someone who likes spice, put hella ginger. Actually do some fresh ginger. That's actually my current wave. Try to use more fresh of everything. So literally, when you make sauces, use the actual onion. And then you might use a little onion powder for the dynamic range. That's it. But otherwise, once you taste it, I promise you, put the toasted sesame oil together with the day syrup. You're like, this tastes like the same thing.
So day syrup is the base.
Yeah.
Base, yes. Word. So yeah, that's it. Y'all got the sauce. Word. You can make date syrup, by the way. All you do is boil dates. That's it. Until it gets down to a syrup, you strain it. Boom. Just like elderberries. So. Yeah, man, we in class. All right.
I appreciate it.
Oh, y'all need the stuff. That's what it is. All right. Oh yeah, yeah. So if you want to do a wrap, you gotta fill your bowl up first to bring it over to the station, so we can keep working on this side.
Beautiful.
Word. All right, so there's 5 living mineral bites left. Let's get this trivia in while y'all wait.
All right.
All right, let's see. I'm trying to go off the head. What can I ask?
Of everything today. Well, we talk about that.
Oh, from today, right. All right, bet.
I think they were conscious today.
Are we calling out or we gotta raise our hand?
Yo.
I was super conscious.
All right, let's see. Yeah, we're going to go off the first person to say Ollie oxen spree. What's that look? I'm trying to think of a question. Oh, based on what you learned today, what is the smallest grain that was presented?
I got some
She said it first. But she said Ollie oxen spree though. She followed the rules. Let's put one out.
Let's make a rule. Let the question be
fully asked. All right.
Smell with it so
I'm gonna give you the rules. Hey, this next one, you gotta turn to answer the question. You gotta look in that mirror and say, "I love me." That's how I'm gonna call on you. You can't do it before the question is done.
Wait, say that one more time. I missed that.
You gotta look in that mirror at yourself and say, "I love me," to answer the question. All right, here go the next question. What are the first 3 ingredients in this? He was first.
Walnuts, date syrup, date sugar.
No.
So do you have to look back again? Do you have to look back again?
Yeah, you gotta look back again.
I said it. Jelly, coconut, dates, walnuts.
Close.
No. Okay, no. Bladderwrack, right?
No. You was close.
I love you.
split it, or y'all gotta rock, paper, scissors. I got 3 more. Let's see what's the next challenge. All right. Oh, for this one, the answer, you gotta do a jumping jack.
One?
Y'all don't want to work out, look. Who got heels on? Oh.
Jumping jacks in here.
Right. Look, you a dancer. Of course you gonna say it.
And I think jump little ladies.
All right, bet.
I get y'all together.
Let's see.
Running hills.
Oh, what is the store that Chris said you could find most of the stuff?
I can't be.
Yup. Why? And you gave it. You was that person in class. You was that person, bro. Like, even like, Miss Jackson pick me and she'll just tell the answer. Yo.
Okay, cool.
All right, let's see. We got 2 more. All right, bet. I was about to do it. This wasn't right. Let's see. Ooh, that one would be hard. Let's see.
I know what you about to ask.
No, you cool. A lot of things. A lot of knowledge dropped today.
It was a lot. All right, let's see.
I can't wait, man.
You said you came late. That should count for something? What? You count for something when you come early. Yo, you come in class an hour late, like, I'm an hour late. What you talking about? I'm supposed to get an A. I'm an hour late.
You know when to stop.
You used to be like this.
What is the grain that Chris would normally use when making oatmeal?
Oh, I can't. His favorite or which way? You know, I already got one.
Yeah, you got one.
Wait, what's the
She was
ask the question
going.
again.
What she was gonna say?
And listen, stay with your first answer. Ask the question again.
Yeah. What would be the grain he would normally use for his oats?
Normally. Remember, today I used spell just because it was what the store had.
You said,
You had it. You had it, baby girl.
Yes. Right. All right. Last one. Last one. This is the last one. Let's see.
I'm ready like Dumpy Duck.
All right.
Ready like Dumpy Duck, baby.
Let's see. I'm trying to make sure y'all really learn something.
Khalil dropped some.
Yeah, y'all dropped mad tunes, man.
I'm trying to think of something to add.
Yeah, you talking about we got to sit and think about it.
Word.
Right here.
That's right. See, you where the book is. Keep that book.
Oh, I got
On everything.
Oh, got it.
Got him.
All right. In order to answer the question, let's see. To answer the question, you gotta say yeah. Yo, all right. What is the #1 key to transition? It was Chris.
no, but that's not fair. No.
I might get it wrong. I might get it.
Oh, wait, who's that? Oh, look, he was.
I might get it wrong.
He's different. He is different. Watch him, bro.
I might get it wrong.
Yo,
I might get it wrong.
hey, he is Ezel. He like, I don't kill, I steal. Yo, I like you, bro. I'm taking him to eat with me, bro. But I hope he paying. I'm gonna be broke, bro. He ain't playing, bro. Bro, he different, bro. Look how he's standing, bro. Yo. Yes, what is the, you gotta say yeah.
I was me. Let me forget. I might get it wrong. I just said like, ooh, wait. Consciousness.
No, and doing it. Hold up, and doing it too.
Nah, consciousness.
One question, y'all.
What was the question?
All I said, what's the? Oh, matter of fact, me and you both gonna be on the panel. We gonna judge it. So we're gonna let multiple people answer, and we'll weigh it out. The question was, what is the number one key to transition? We're gonna start off with Chris. What you say? This is hard. Look, y'all ain't gotta do it because we're gonna let multiple people go. So Chris, you said what?
Is anybody parked in the driveway area right here?
Oh shit, I think it's Oh shit, I think it's me.
Yeah.
I said consciousness.
You said consciousness.
Me said fasting.
Fasting. Accountability. Mental.
Be yourself.
Show up for something.
He said the first thing, right? He said the first thing, right?
Oh, what? Okay.
Awareness.
Okay. Anybody else?
Travel,
What you
like
say?
constant moving, like
Okay.
Wait, what's the question?
evolving.
The number one key to transition. Boy, what you say, little man? Okay.
You gotta wrap it like that.
Okay.
That's a good one. Cause there's a lot of. That's a good one, bro. That's a good one. I feel like the
He said, know thyself. That was.
I thought it was consciousness, cause like he was talking about that the
He
whole
said
time.
the most. He said the most important.
Yeah.
So it's
I heard
that means it's only one.
I'm about to bring back the tape.
We about to weigh our answers out
I'm
now.
about to bring back the tape.
Well, you can't just do it if you don't know. You know
Wait. We need like maybe like 2/3 of the population to go that way.
Word.
Because y'all all. I'm just joking. I'm joking. I'm joking.
Okay.
All right.
Feel me?
She did it? She did it.
Oh yeah.
She
said, it's light. I do this.
I may not come back out.
Can I get a yeah? Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. That's a lot of love and vibration here. So we want to take this time real quick to go ahead and announce the winners. So we heard a few different answers like know thyself, accountability, awareness, fasting, fruit detox, etc. And the real answer is that what you said is what works for you, which means that we're all winners. So I got some extra. Y'all not even gonna save me, man. What about the chef? He grabbed two.
I gotta take one from my mother, man. Show me right.
He's got crazy.
You
got it. You want it? Go ahead. Take it. No, you can have it. Take your bite.
That one?
Oh, you ain't get nothing.
I got one. I got one. They don't know about that.
This was no one, right? This is no one.
But nobody.
Y'all didn't know I was prepared for y'all. Y'all thought I was slipping.
I'm supposed to use one sheet or two.
I think one is.